everyone, I am coming to you today to do the Homemaker Tag. My daughter from Glitter and Groceries tagged me in this tag, and I have to say I was very honored to be tagged in the Homemaker Tag by my daughter. I'm outside because my son is inside and I have a feeling I'm going to cry, and I didn't want him to see me cry. So I came outside, so I apologize for any of the street noise that you may hear. So I'm going to go ahead and just dig right into her questions. I thought she came up with some really great questions. So I'm on a swing. I'm trying not to swing it because I know that's distracting. Growing up, did you want to become a homemaker? Yes. The only thing I can ever remember wanting to be is a homemaker. I came home from school at 9 years old and told my parents, I'm sure with my hands on my hips, that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom and I was going to have lots of kids, and that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. So of course that's what I did. I have to say that I was engaged. I was 17. I was still in high school, so it wasn't exactly happy news for everybody that my husband and I were engaged so young. So the second question was, if not, what did you see yourself doing? Honestly, I never saw myself doing anything but raising a family and being a wife, which was wonderful while I was in the thick of raising my kids and homeschooling and driving them here and driving them there and coaching cheerleading and, you know, doing all of that stuff. And then they grew up. The nerve. They grew up, they got their own lives. So this part is a little bit more difficult, although I've always had my creative outlets. Just kind of finding my way right now, being an empty nester. So that's that. The next question. What did your husband think about you wanting to be a homemaker? Well, I have to be very honest. At 17 years old, I told my then boyfriend, who I had known since I was 12, that I had every intention of not working and being a stay-at-home mom, and if he wanted something else in a wife, then we needed to break up, because that is what I wanted, and I was just dead set. That's what I wanted. Luckily, he didn't even bat an eye. He's like, that's exactly what he wanted. We were both fortunate enough to have our mothers home when we were young. As we got older, they both went back to work. But I just thought it was really important for me to be home with our kids. And I have to say that the greatest gift my husband ever gave me was the ability to be home with my children and to homeschool them. There was a point in our young married lives that he got a second job because his job, he still had it, but he just took a huge pay cut, and he went and got a second job so that I could stay home with our very young children. And to me, that has always been the greatest gift that he ever gave me, because I got to really invest in the lives of my children, and they just knew that they could count on me, that I was always there. At least I hope they felt that they could count on me. Why do you think homemaking is important? Sorry, I'm outside the bugs. I have to say that I feel that homemaking is the most important thing a woman can do. If you don't want to have kids, then that's fine, great, go get a career. But if you want to have kids, in my opinion, or at least I would have done anything to be able to be home with my kids. I would have lived in a mobile home. I would have never had TV, canceled cable. You know, whatever I needed to do, I would have done, because I felt it was that important. And I think that our young women have been sold a lie. You cannot be, in my opinion, a career woman, a mom, a wife. Something is going to suffer. And it's either going to be your marriage, because you're so caught up in your kids, and when you come home from work, it's kids, 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 that you lose sight of the fact that you are a wife and he is a husband. You're not just a mother and a father. I recently went on the computer to try to find the Future Homemakers of America. They're no longer called the Future Homemakers of America. I don't remember what they're called, but homemaking is looked down upon, and I cannot disagree more. I think that I'm able to make my home a haven for my husband, who works, especially during the summer, he works like crazy, and he loves to be home, because I feel that I've made his home a comfortable place for him to be, and I hope that I've made it comfortable for my children to be. And even though my daughter's married, she comes, she hangs out. I mean, it's her home. I really can't think of anything more important than being a homemaker. I just think I can't reiterate enough. It has been the greatest blessing in my life to be able to create a home, to be a mom, and to still be a wife. How do you think your family would function if you went back to work? Okay, this is funny because back to work, I have not worked in 24 years. I quit my job when I was trying to get pregnant with my son, and I was 20 years old. So I don't think my family could function if I got a real big girl job. My husband works nights, so I would work days. We would never see each other. His schedule, you know, we can go on vacations, and if I got a job, I wouldn't be as flexible as he would be. And I always laugh and tell everybody I'm my husband's beck and call girl because, you know, I'm able to be home. And I don't think I could go back to like having a boss because I've been my own boss for so long. I think I'd have a problem with that. So, and I think everyone's come to depend on the fact that I'm always home. They can call me, I'm usually here. You know, if they need me to do something, I'm able to do it. So that would definitely be a big change for everybody. Okay, what were some of the sacrifices you made to stay home? I don't know if I'd call them sacrifices, only because I did it joyfully. I've never had super nice clothes from the mall. Not that I've ever really desired that. I've almost always purchased my clothes at Goodwill. When the kids were little, I made a lot of their clothes. I don't spend a lot of money on handbags. I don't spend a lot of money on makeup. I don't spend a lot of money on my hair, even though I got my hair did today. Like it. My friend Michelle cut it for me. So I didn't have a lot of those luxuries. We've never gone on grand big family vacations. I mean, we've done a few here and there, but pretty much they've been weekend trips. We've gone to Disney several times. More important is our day-to-day activities. Holidays are a big deal for us, but if we don't see, like if Maureen has to go be with her husband's family for a holiday, it's not the end of the world because we have such a great day-to-day relationship. You know, we've lived in the same house for many years because, you know, this is where everything is happening, even though, you know, I always say I'm moving. I don't think I'm ever moving. So, you know, I can't think, you know, I wear a fake ring because my antique rings are so fragile. I don't need to go out and buy a $3,000 ring to prove that my husband loves me. It's just, it's not important. I wear rings to show people that I'm married, you know, because he likes it when I have a ring on. I'm trying to think sacrifices. I've been so blessed in my life that I can't really think of anything that I've done with that. I mean, we haven't had new cars. My husband has driven a 1984 Ford pickup truck for as long as I can remember. You know, it's just what we do, how we are able to stay home. I'm careful with the money. I really want to be a blessing to my husband, and I respect him so much that I don't want to go out and buy expensive things because I know how hard he works. I'm very content with the things that I have. You know, I've always had to be really organized, and I'll tell you, when you start homeschooling, you definitely need your children's help because you just can't do it all. So I feel like I'm babbling, but I'm trying to think of sacrifices that I've made, and I can't really think of anything major that I've given up because it's all been a joy. Most of it has been a joy for me. Getting bitten by mosquitoes. And then the very last question, any advice you can give to women wanting to become homemakers? Like I said, this is just so very important to me. I think that a lot of women go into becoming a homemaker, a stay-at-home wife and mother. They just think that their natural instincts are going to kick in. And while some of that might be true, because I was engaged at such a young age, I took on becoming a housewife like a vocation. I read books on housekeeping, I learned how to cook, I learned how to sew. I read these books called the Tightwad Gazette, which you could probably still get at the library. I'm sure a lot of the information is outdated, but it really showed me ways to cut corners and how to be, you know, on a budget so that I could afford to stay at home. One thing I'll tell you, if you have come from the workplace and you're going to be a stay-at-home mom, call your car insurance company, because a lot of times your car insurance will go down because you're no longer a daily driver of your vehicle. My best advice is to just forgive yourself. You're not going to be perfect. I remember I was crazed when I was a young mother. My daughter had a little Tyke's kitchen and I had all her forks together, all her knives together. I mean, I had Legos color coded. I had the cars color coded. I went a little overboard because I just was so young and people just thought I was young and that we weren't gonna succeed, and I just was like, felt like I had to prove myself. And as I got older, I realized that's not the important thing. The important thing is the time you invest in your children, the love that you show your family. I mean, you really have to just kind of step back and decide, what do you want your life to look like? Do you want to be a crazed woman who has to have a spotless house all the time? You want it to be nice, but my goodness, as long as it's hygienic, give yourself a little bit of a break. Other advice, God, my brain is drawing a blank, but just really savor the moments that you have with your children. I tell my daughter's friends who have young children, your days seem like they last forever, but the years go by so fast. So hold your child for a little bit longer, because one day you will realize that they're grown up. And although I've had a wonderful, wonderful time raising my children and I love them to death, I look back and I think of so many regrets, that because I was just so high strung and I want everything to be perfect, that I really let some moments pass by that I wish I could get back. I wish I had held them more. I wish I had hugged them more. I wish I had told them I loved them more, even though I tell them I love them all the time. I hope they know what a blessing they have been in my life, how much I love them, and how proud I am of the people that they have become as adults. My daughter has gone after her dreams and just really made things happen. My son has found a wonderful girl and he's gone back to school and he can really see his future, and he just works so hard. And they have had a wonderful example in my husband of what a godly man looks like. So, you know, we always wanted our daughter to be a homemaker. We put that desire in her heart because I feel it's so important. And we taught our son how to be a single wage earner so that he can also be that man he needs to be, so his wife can stay home and take care of his children. And I really just want to say thank you to my husband, who I've known since I was 12, who I married at 18. You have been a wonderful example to our children. You have loved me like no other. You have made all of my dreams come true. And now that I'm on the tail end of being a stay-at-home mom and I'm more a stay-at-home wife, I just look back on my life as such a blessing. And I just want to say thank you to my husband. I want to say thank you to my children for being so wonderful. And I love you. And I'm sorry I got so emotional. This is very important to me, and I would really like to be a mentor to young women who want to be home, who have small children. I'm not perfect by any means, but I certainly have a heart to help, you know, help people stay at home and take care of their children. So thank you, Maureen, for tagging me in this tag, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'm gonna go have a good cry now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.